An upset?
Well, Brackley need to bring their A game, and I think if they do, then I fancy them 2-1.
We are about to find out. Good numbers here, as you'd expect. The only FA Cup tie tonight, the only game of note really at the end of the international break. A chance to go to Blackpool in round 2 as the teams emerge here at St James Park. High time then we handed you over to our commentary team here in Northamptonshire. Adam Virgo alongside Paul Dempsey.
Matt, hi there. Good evening, everybody. It's tremendous to be here tonight. A trip to Blackpool, the prize, well worth the winning, even with winter closing in. But Brackley, the town, our hosts, a buzz today simply, and that is what the FA Cup can do like no other competition. An authentic cup occasion here, even down to the sausage and mash in the clubhouse. The club full of belief. It's easy to see why. 12 of 14 first-round replays so far this week. Won by the home side. Two of the winners, Curzon, Ashton and Halifax, are from the National League North, and both beaten by Brackley in that league campaign this season already. But of course the biggest reason to believe is the history between these two, and Justin Edinburgh does not need to be reminded about it. Brackley have done it before against Gillingham. The Gills know they're up against it. Edinburgh's men made an excellent start to their league campaign. They knocked Watford out in the League Cup, but then went one win in 10 games. Now hoping that things are finally starting to turn their way again, especially given a stoppage time winner against Northampton at the weekend. And this man, Kevin Wilkin, with a superb cup pedigree, first as a player and then as a manager latterly. So Brackley in the first round proper for the third time in 4 seasons. It's just 2 defeats in 22 all told this season. They've scored 16 on this FA Cup run. Glenn Walker, the match winner, as you heard in the replay with Gillingham here 3 years back. Jimmy Armstrong has got 9 from midfield this season, including a really special one in the first game. And up front, Steve Diggin also played against the Gills 3 years back. In this season's FA Cup, he's got 4, part of a run of 9 in 9, including a hat-trick against Boston on Saturday. Gillingham, a few changes tonight. The keeper, Stuart Nelson, is a survivor of the cup meeting 3 years ago. In front of him, a defence, whichever Edinburgh selects, which has kept only 1 clean sheet in 30 matches. That was against West Bromwich Albion's under-23s. Bailey Cargill is cup-tied. No Paul Konchesky, who's in the crowd tonight. Deji Olashawa and Bradley Garmston return. Chris Hurd comes in for Josh Wright, who's among the subs. And with Frank Nouble also ruled out by injury, Bradley Dack, the League One player of the season last year, comes back into the starting lineup tonight. J. Emmanuel Thomas, top scorer with 9. And Adam Virgo, how do you see them trying to go about winning this cup tie?
Well, I think it's very important tonight. When you come up against league opposition, it's so important that you keep the ball. Armstrong, the number 8 for Brackley, will be looking to make runs in behind. Walker on the left-hand side, he'll be the one who'll try to bomb on as much as possible for Gillingham. Tyler in midfield, he'll be trying to keep the ball as much as possible. Bradley Dack on that left-hand side won't always be there, looking to get in pockets of space. McDonald trying to be a bit more clever in that final third.
Robert Jones taking charge tonight. A new man on the league list this season. So a very accomplished group of players brought together here by Wilkin. Most of them are new faces. Only a few survivors of the previous cup run, even in the squad here at the moment. But a club beginning to look up again. Glenn Walker, not only with the winner against the Gills 3 years ago, but he's played a big part in keeping Brackley on the up. His goal kept them in the league on the last day of last season against Tamworth. But that big rebuild since then, and also that has been the case at Gillingham, very much so. Edinburgh has brought in a total of 12 new faces, including this fellow, Emmanuel Thomas, given yet another chance by yet another manager. Edinburgh believes in his talent, but knows he has to deliver now, Emmanuel Thomas, at the age of 25. That big goal at the weekend in stoppage time. He's on loan from Queen's Park Rangers. It's a long way to Wembley from here, of course, figuratively, if not literally. And what we should do, I think, Adam, is commend the ground staff here at St James's Park for producing a surface which would grace any top-line football occasion.
Most definitely, Paul, and I'm sure when the Gillingham players turned up and saw the surface, they'll be delighted. Brackley's home service that they can get the ball down, get the ball playing, get their players into good positions. But it's really important they're professional with set plays. Don't underestimate Brackley. They got off to a good start in that first game. The quality will show, but the first 20 minutes is so important for the away side.
It is that 4-3-3 that Gillingham are starting with tonight, despite all the changes. Arguable that Edinburgh's tried to beef up the side a little bit, bringing Hurd back into midfield, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, most definitely. I mean, the thing you can say about Gillingham is that sometimes they can get rolled over very easily. Been in front of quite a few games this season, but conceded late sloppy goals that have cost them valuable points this season. Struggle when set plays come into the box, so they need that steeliness, and to bring Hurd back into that midfield certainly helps that.
And that three centre-back system that has served Brackley so well. Boys who've been around at this level for most of their careers, very accomplished.
They've already got Thomas into the game very early from the kick-off. Long diagonal out wide to him. He was pivotal in that second half to get them back into the game.
Gudger, of course, is a threat in the opposition box, as he proved in the first meeting, but he's got a bit of work to do in his own defending area this time. Billy Knott is 11. Shalaja back in the Gill side tonight. Shalaja was who went for it.
It's something that Gillingham do pride themselves on, with the quality of Dak. And not set plays. If you get good balls into the area, they do tend to work on them. Don't see too much in that challenge there.
Laurie Walker, the Brackley goalkeeper, saved a penalty at the weekend.
Get together!
Of course, it could go that far tonight. A little bit sloppy by Walker. Very good win back by Love. And it is Stuart Nelson in goal for Gillingham. He's had a little bit of a struggle this season, Nelson, since the arrival of Jonathan Bond to re-establish himself. Bond has been injured in recent weeks. The Gills signing on loan. So Nelson, who had a starting role at the beginning of the season, it went well for the first few weeks, but then a dip in form, and they brought him out of the firing line. Miles. Confidently struck cross, wasn't it, and gathered in well on that far side also. Everything about this start by Brackley, Adam, suggests they have little to fear. You might be right, remembering they were 2 up in under 25 minutes in the first game.
Yeah, I mean, they sometimes feel, Kevin saying before the game, that maybe they possibly should have won that game. Sometimes you need that bit of composure to see games out, and if you allow opportunities to Football League sides with the quality they've got, the power for J. Emmanuel Thomas and Frank Nubu, who's not even playing tonight, it's always difficult to play against. Concentration is key for Brackley, but for the first 5 minutes or so, they're happy to get the ball down and get the ball out wide to their wing-backs.
Knott gives it out wide this side to Bradley Garbston, back in the side tonight, young Garbston. He's very quick. Not again. That's easy enough for Ellis Miles. Needed a couple of stabs at it for her to get it under control, but it's beginning to all flow through Knott for Gillingham. Emmanuel Thomas, basically left-footed, starting on that right for Gillingham.
Yeah, I mean, he looks to cut in on onto his left as much as possible. I think it's a formation that Justin has now found, with the injuries that he's had this season, that really suits his players.
Last touch seemed to come off Eimer, the German centre-back. Got the equaliser, such an important goal against Northampton.
Give yourself space! Get away from the ball!
Says he believes in the players he's brought here, Justin Edinburgh, but it has not been easy to keep the faith over the last couple of months. Every time that they've started to look like they're getting into a rhythm, one or two injuries have rather stilted their season.
I mean, he certainly had a difficult start to the season, bringing in Lee Martin and getting injured very early in pre-season. Wagstaff coming in as well, got injured. Very quickly coming in on loan from Bristol City. I mean, the list goes on. Aaron Morris as well, he's been missing.
That's a bit risky as well. Doesn't feel like watching the Gillingham side of maybe 10, 12, 15 years ago, I must say. Tony Pulis built it, arguably the most successful period of their history as a club. Andy Hessenthaler carried it on, of course, but they were a very direct, hard-running side. This is a different kind of approach from Justin Edinburgh these days, and one wonders whether it will work at the level they're playing at. Brave, certainly, and I guess to be applauded. Adam Walker. Jake Hessenthaler, the son of the aforementioned former manager.
They're not afraid to get tight. That's Miles there, not afraid to leave a little bit on Hessenthaler there. That's what you need to do. You need to try and make this into a cup tie. Gillingham like to get the ball down and play under Justin, but you need that other side of the game to make this as uncomfortable as possible for them.
So much expectation surrounding Bradley Dack, and a lot of other clubs, of course, have watched him very, very closely over the last year or two. We understand there are quite a few scouts here doing that again tonight, and they've waited for this game because, of course, he was out of the picture for a few weeks, and Edinburgh needed him back. Didn't rush him back, brought him on as a substitute at the weekend, and even for him tonight, I think it's going to be very important to get through the game.
I mean, his injuries have hampered his season so far. Last season he was certainly Gillingham's best player in League One. He scored plenty of goals, and you have a niggling hamstring injury like he's had this season. It's difficult for him to get going, so it's important he gets a run of games now and try and find that form that brought him so much success last season.
Dealt with by Jackson. Aimer's head, not particularly well aimed. Not entitled to keep going, and he did that. And here is Dack. Out-muscled then, and it was excellent work by Dean. Got a little bit of additional help from Ellis Miles also. Twice over, Oshilaja trying to make a bit of yardage. Then Jackson. Emmanuel Thomas needs room to work in. Can he find some up against Gudja? Brackley forcing Gillingham back. Aimer.
I think it's certainly important for Glenn Walker to really double up with Alex Gudja when Emmanuel Thomas has the ball. Just offering that little bit more support defensively.
It's actually a third loan spell. I mentioned the importance of the loan factor in this side that Edinburgh has put together at Gillingham. Oshilaja is in his third loan spell. Won by Hessenthaler. Emmanuel Thomas. Nicely round the corner to Hessenthaler. The flag has stayed down. And it's an excellent piece of work in the end by Walker. But such a clever piece of build-up play. That is how Edinburgh wants this Gillingham side to play, and it very nearly paid off here, Adam.
Yeah, it was Billy Knott, just that little ball round the corner. And it's Miles paying him on side. Hessenthaler into Laurie Walker. He comes out quickly off his line. Makes that angle really tight. Hessenthaler taking it a little bit earlier. He's claiming a little pullback there from Glenn Walker.
Bit taller than his dad, isn't he? But like his dad, he has that instinct to see the opportunity to get forward from the middle of the park.
Exactly. It's the first time really that Gillingham played the ball forward, not got in a great position. Osalaja played the ball through that half turn, and they created, got the ball out wide, and enables runs into the box.
Well, might have been a little bit over-ambitious in the end, but Brackley are very good at getting men forward, aren't they? And they do back themselves. Glenn Walker having a pop from distance.
Well, certainly the left-hand side, Kevin Wilkins' side, they do like to get on as much as possible. You really have to show him down the line, Jackson. You can't allow him to cut inside. Get that shot on target.
I think you can be fairly happy with how they've settled into this return, Kevin Wilkin. Despite the more than 60 places on the league ladder between them, I think Brackley felt there was little in it in terms of their ability to play. And as mentioned, you know, a lot of these Brackley players have been around a long time. Most of them started at league clubs, of course. And it's very often just footballing fate that determines who goes where after that, isn't it?
And sometimes you get injuries and loss of form, and managers come in that sometimes just don't fancy, and you end up going down the ladder pretty quickly. It's a good opportunity for them tonight.
Dak strode onto it, but again easy, well read by Godja. Oshilaja. Emmanuel Thomas infield. Ema. Not weighed up all the options. Garmston. Mentioned his pace. Wasn't a bad one, and maybe just caught on their heels slightly, Brackley.
It was a teasing cross, wasn't it? Those horrible ones for Laurie Walker, just bounces in front of him. Donald just making that run across the near post. Putting the keeper under pressure there. It's dropping off a little bit deep at the moment, Brackley, when they've got the ball in their own half. Gillingham to really push on and get those balls out wide and get the crosses in.
Cody MacDonald has had a fine career, but he is still looking for his first FA Cup goal. Now, I mentioned the lovely playing surface. The keener eyed will spot that there is a little bit of a slope, but I say that adds to the romance of the FA Cup. It's not Yeovil, but it'll do for tonight.
Yeah, certainly, you need a slight slope in the pitch that always helps these FA Cup ties.
Emmanuel Thomas, at least he's seeing plenty of it early on here for Gillingham. Brackley are quick to get around him. Hurd finds Knott. That's clever. And not quite for MacDonald.
He's picking up some wonderful positions, Billy Knott, and they're finding him forward passes crisp. And look at the amount of time that he's got. Cleverness to try and flick it over to MacDonald's always a difficult ball to bring down. Wilkin has just put an extra man in midfield now. Ian Love has gone down to this right-hand side to try and compromise that. Gillingham midfield to have that extra man in there to try and put them under a bit of pressure, but they've got a little bit too much time on the ball at the minute.
Hessenthaler broke in front of it this time. There is a change in that midfield, of course, tonight. Hurd is supposed to be the balancing player, and see the way there, he didn't go forward. He sat and let the other two do the work in the more attacking sense. So there's a decent balance to it. Jackson. Garmston to Oshalaja. Hey, Martin, they're still knocking it around nicely, Gillingham. Long by Dean. Not really been able to get Steve Diggin into it very much, and again he came off second best then, Diggin.
I just mentioned earlier they put Unruv now to this right-hand side and Diggin up front on his own. You worry when you play the three at the back, that your two fullbacks especially, Miles and Walker, they're just playing too deep, so they almost play like a flat back five. That allows Armstrong and Jackson to really push on and make the width hard for them to defend against.
Armstrong almost got the free kick in the end out of it, Jimmy Armstrong, and he is a very clever player. Goes against Chris Hurd. Of course, Hurd is a man who's really struggled to put games together through his career. Had that long and torrid battle with injury at Aston Villa, and in the end he moved on to Chesterfield on the basis of a more consistent season. That's how he's got the move to Gillingham. It's just very good to see him out there playing. And Love, Armstead, oh yes, and he went straight through Nelson. And this man with a marvellous goal-scoring record in the FA Cup, Jimmy Armstrong, has done it yet again.
Well, you always felt, as I said earlier, they do struggle against set plays, Gillingham. And Unruv here takes a massive amount of credit. Now he lets the ball roll across him, and Armstrong makes that run into the box. He's certainly onside. And win that header across. You watch Unruv, he just lets it roll across him. Pins Max Aim up. And then the midfield run at James Armstrong. Free on the edge of the box there to get that shot in. Lee Stewart Nelson without any chance to keep it out the goal.
And with that one, Armstrong joins Steve Diggin in double figures, 10 for the season, and Wilkins' men sense the big cup shock again tonight. They've been tidy, but without really creating a lot of danger. But that shows a real edge to this Brackley side. They've been scoring so many goals this season, Adam.
I mean, they have, and Kevin Wilkin would say that we get set plays like they did for the first goal in the last game when they got that goal from the corner. You know, Gillingham was so vulnerable from set plays, from corners and deep free kicks into the box, long throws as well. Stay in the game, which they have done in these first 20 minutes, and you'll always get an opportunity. Justin Ender will be looking for a bit more of his side in the final third.
And here goes Diggin. Nelson on point that time. The captain, Josh Wright, only among the substitutes tonight for Gillingham, but they're going to need somebody to pick this team up. Garmston providing a little bit of an example. It's gone out of play, surely. Well, it's feeling a bit like the first game again, isn't it? And I'm sure Justin Edinburgh is saying, oh no, not again. Remember that they went 2 down first time round to Brackley and did fight back. It's still early, but no captions needed for what he thinks about it.
Well, you can clearly see that he's not happy, claiming just the one ball, and he's completely right. They've been dominating the game with possessions and the odd opportunity.
Not saying that Wilkin necessarily believes that his team can hold on to a 1-0 either, incidentally.
It's a big 10 minutes for his side now, not to get carried away with the occasion. Keep to their principles, defend well when they haven't got the ball, keep the concentration, keep the talking going. Easy to get carried away when you're just taking that goal lead.
But he has looked composed, even when he walked in this evening. We both said it, it looks like just a night at training for the manager, and his players look completely comfortable out there, don't they?
I mean, I hope that the Wrexham job doesn't really tarnish him as what a good career he's had at Nuneaton. He was excellent.
Walker takes it. Dean back to Walker, Laurie Walker, one of 3 incidentally, as you've probably spotted by now in this Brackley lineup. None are related. So all that stuff I wrote about the Walker brothers and hits and all that's gone out the window already. Little floater over the top by her, too much on it probably, and Laurie claims it. Had a little wobble himself at the start of the season, which he acknowledged actually in the programme notes for this game. And Dan Farrell, who's on the bench tonight for Brackley, started the first 3 in the league. It's head. Armson, very elegant player, isn't he? And Love found room, so full of confidence, and didn't quite have the sting to trouble Nelson, but the confidence is so high.
Well, Justin Ender will be slightly worried that he's getting the better of his 2 centre-halves. Maxime was allowing him to turn. When you go that tight, you can't allow the forward to get a shot on goal. It's going to be a comfortable save for the goalkeeper, but it's just worrying at the minute. Anytime the ball's gone into the front two, they're winning those little battles.
And somehow he got free of 3 would-be challengers then, and Love. You said to me today, the standard in this league that Brackley play in has gone up considerably in the last couple of seasons, and at the moment Brackley are matching Gillingham in terms of football here.
Exactly, and you can say that for the National League South as well. It's good competition in the leagues below the National League.
Oh, and Love creeping round the back, and again no Gillingham player got near enough to him. It's fizzed at him. I just wonder, Adam, whether he might have done better to steer it back across the face of goal here.
Does Bradley Garnton know he's actually behind him? He doesn't look over his shoulder once. It's a tough ball there. But again, Glenn Walker improvising everything, gets to the line. Not enough to stop the cross coming in from Ryan Jackson. Just probably surprises him a little bit there, but a good opportunity.
Well, it went to safety in the end by Oshalaja. But big spaces are opening up here in this Gillingham side. An old cup warrior like Konchesky not involved in this starting lineup. Not even on the bench tonight, actually, for Gillingham, although he is here, Paul Konchesky. A fellow who's been through a lot of cup ties like this. Who knows whether they've got that kind of know-how in this Gillingham side, but we're about to find out. Here's young Garmston. Adam mentioned the injuries at the start of the season for Gillingham. Poor old Bradley Garmston missed the first 3 months after dislocating his knee in pre-season. Jack. Very tidily done that time by Diggin. Not quite for Adam Walker.
Come on, we want to fucking play forward.
Jackson needs better than that. That's easy for Armson on that lazy left foot.
It's important that Brackley, when they do get the ball, they try and string together 2 or 3 passes. Just to try and squeeze him up the pitch an extra 10 yards. To turn over just at the moment, just happening a little bit too frequently. Gives Gillingham a little bit of time to compose themselves back into the game, keep control of the ball and try and work their way up the pitch.
Diggin working back on Garmston. Just eluded MacDonald, who's having a bit of a struggle to get involved up front for Gillingham at the moment. Amar up to Jackson. Glenn Walker up to him quickly. Emmanuel Thomas now for Gillingham. That's a tremendous piece of work coming by Gudger. And well worked forward quickly. It's Diggin now. Great looking ball by him, and it's turned in on that back stick, and Armson has done it yet again. It's the Armson show here, and Brackley again build a 2-goal lead in the FA Cup against Gillingham. It really is history repeating itself.
Well, it all starts from the tackle from Alex Gudger. on Emmanuel Thomas that sets this counter-attack off. It's a brilliant tackle from the defender. And now they're on the counter-attack. See Diggin pulling off Oshalaja, but then Armstrong gives it out wide and he just runs. He gets on goal side of Chris Hurd, and it's a tidy finish. It just bounces in front of him. It's a quality ball across. That's an even better finish from the midfielder.
And it also shows he's not all about that left peg, because that was with the right.
That was an unbelievable finish, it really was. It's one of those ones that just bounces in front of you so many times, but this was a quality challenge there.
And it all started with that challenge by Gudger, quite right on.
Yeah, it did, though, Nick. To that counter-attack off. When the ball got to James Armstrong, he gets it out wide, and then he just makes that run into the box.
He's had quite a part to play in this cut tie himself, Gudger, but it's all really going to be about Armstrong if Brackley do go on to claim that trip to Blackpool, as they seem set to do. The FA Cup coverage continues on BT Sport into Thursday night. Dover meeting Cambridge United, again on BT Sport 1 and in ultra high definition, as we complete the replay lineup. Gillingham knocked it around confidently here in the early stages, but the question over how much heart they have for the scrap here tonight is being asked again.
Clearly you can see why they've kept one clean sheet this season. When you come to these away games against non-league sides, you need to be concentrating all the time. Defending set plays are so crucial, and the first goal really typified that. You can't afford to lose these battles all the time, give away the ball cheaply, and just lose the battle. At the minute, they're being bullied in every area, and he'd be disappointed with that.
Right, the first task for Edinburgh's men is to defend this set piece before it gets any worse. They've done that at least. Cleared by MacDonald. And goes again. I'm not sure it was an advantage played by the referee or not. They've ended up with the ball, Brackley, and is again very well used from the back by Dean. This time they do get a free kick. It's all Brackley here now, Adam.
Yeah, it was important after they scored that goal that they didn't drop off. 2 cases of fouls there. But they know they've been up 2-0 before. Gillingham have come back from this, so they've got to be careful and concentrate. Set plays again, make the most of this.
Gudger got one in the first meeting from a set piece. Olashada made a bit of a meal of the clearance, but it was off the arm of Endelove in the end. Free kick to Gillingham. Chance to regroup for the visitors here. Armstrong on the target twice.
It's just all about his ball out wide, and just look at his run afterwards. And he realises Hurd can't keep up with him, and that's a quality finish. He's done that all season for Brackley. The runs into the box. It's a quality goal. He gave it out wide, and he's that desire to get into the box. Hurd was a little bit flat-footed, and he took his goal well.
I know it's a bit late for Halloween and all that, but it is quite spooky, you know. That's the 26th minute, just like it was in the first.
Yes, Jimmy! Lead the right side! That's it.
He's got a spell on this Brackley side at the moment, as Wilkin. Remember him as a player, actually, for Nuneaton, probably 10 years ago, with that FA Cup. Went to a replay, a third-round tie against Middlesbrough. Had a good playing career, but in his own way, really put in his mark now as a manager, and as Adam said, regrouping after what was a real shock to his system when just 24 hours or so after taking a team to the trophy final at Wembley, lost his job. It was a low point, but how well he's come back.
So he did excellent with Nuneaton, and it was a difficult job going to Wrexham. It's a big club and they feel they shouldn't be in the National League, and the final against North Ferriby, where they lost on penalties, was an amazing game of football. I was pleased to see that he's bounced back well. He's got a good side here in Brackley, and they're ready for National League football.
Gobbs has stopped this side by Gareth Dean. Not only can they play this Brackley side, but they're a fairly formidable bunch off the field, you know. Enough to make the likes of me feel slightly inadequate. Dean is an example, design engineer with Jaguar Land Rover, not too far from here. He's got a master's degree in engineering. One of several players in this side with degrees. His co-centre-back, Luke Graham, has got a first-class degree in sports journalism. I actually thought about ringing him this morning and asking where I've gone wrong.
Here all day.
But they're doing very, very well in their part-time job, and getting this side together for a big cup tie like this in midweek is not easy. I asked Wilkin whether he'd had a hope that any of the players could get a day off to prepare. He said no chance. Diggin was out laying tarmac till 3 o'clock. Just goes to show, Adam, reputations count for nothing. In this FA Cup particularly, the timeless fascination of it.
Season after season, year after year, these are what make the stories of why the FA Cup is so special to so many people.
Here goes MacDonald, but the flag is up. They need a spark from somewhere here now, Gills, don't they? And no Frank Nubler this time to provide it, as in that first game this season.
Well, they haven't really got MacDonald into the game whatsoever. Trying to play on shoulders. That's very, very tight, that.
FA Cup winner as a player with Tottenham very early in his playing career, actually. That Paul Gascoigne final of 1991 against Nottingham Forest. I tried to tell him he doesn't look that different to the young player who just came from Southend at that time. He said, I feel a lot different inside. Just a bit too much on it for Diggin, but he didn't give up on it. They're so sharp onto everything. Here comes Miles. Great looking ball again, and Love felt he was entitled to go for it.
That's what you want. Goes out wide, Miles with the ball in. A challenge like that sometimes unsettles the goalkeeper. Next time a cross goes into the box, every right to go for it. Certain free kick there.
And to echo your point, poor old Stuart Nelson's not had the easiest time. One clean sheet, Gillingham, in 31 now, not all involving Nelson, we should point that out. Jonathan Bond had that spell as the first choice keeper. So we mentioned the FA Cup action tomorrow night. Looking forward to the weekend. BT Sport Score to keep you up to date with all the scores down the leagues on a Saturday afternoon on BT Sport 1. From the Premier League, Tottenham Hotspur against West Ham United following at 5 on Saturday evening. And all the Premier League stories reviewed in Premier League Tonight from 8. At the moment, the headline of the FA Cup, and indeed one of the stories of the week in the FA Cup, is the success of the National League North teams. 2 winners already in replays, and Brackley look well set to make it 3. Where they're going to find a little bit of fire, Gillingham.
They need to get MacDonald into the game a little bit more. Dak's gone a little bit more central. Thomas has come out to this left-hand side. Looks like the goals have just absolutely shocked them. You're looking for someone in that midfield area to really take control of the game.
Adam Walker there, one of 3 players. I mentioned the big turnover by Wilkin, who felt that the previous team here had just come to the end of the road, really, just surviving in that National League on the last day last season. 3 of the players who came in from Solihull Moors, very good side in their own right, of course. Here goes Gormston, trying to take on Miles down the outside. That was a bit more positive. Fell forward, that was a good stop. Bits and pieces for Hessenthaler, who gets Gillingham in the game, and still in the FA Cup. It fell for the youngster Jake Hessenthaler, and how well he did to score his first ever FA Cup goal.
Well, this is a little bit more like it. Great ball from the wing. And this is where you want Bradley Dack, making those runs into the box. Laurie Walker done a little bit more to push it away for a corner. Some great ball in. That's where you want Dack in that area around the penalty box. Looking a little bit more from the goalkeeper, take nothing away from Hessenthaler. You follow in every time the goalkeeper parries. He strikes it into the net. It really is game on now.
And still the parallels with the first game continue coming. Now for the Gillingham fight back. They'd levelled it all, remember, by half-time at 2-2. Justin Edinburgh really needed something to happen for his team, and the young Hessenthaler, the son of one of the previous Gillingham managers, has done it.
He got his goal against Fleetwood and they went on to lose that game. Thompson got out down that left-hand side. It was a quality ball in. You're talking about McDonald attacking that near post, that making the run into the box. Need more of that.
Skied clearance by Jackson. Emmanuel Thomas made tracks down the middle. It goes short instead as Hessenthaler tried to join in. And Hessenthaler kept biting away. Well, he's got Gillingham in his blood in that blue jersey, which he grew up watching his father play in, and he's made his own little contribution as the Gills try to put some unwanted FA Cup history behind them. Remember, they've so badly struggled to get out of the first round in recent seasons. They still have hope tonight, thanks to him.
It's the first time they really got those midfield runners into the box. Dack and Hessenthaler. Laurie Walker could just be disappointed parrying that. I think he should have done better with that.
Emmanuel Thomas feeds it out to Knott. And again, very confidently done at the back, this time by Luke Graham.
Stop winning Evans, come on! Okay.
Emmanuel Thomas wanted it to feet. Hurd. Nice little shift in the gears then by Hurd. I think on by Dack. Almost fell for Knott, but Gillingham are very much back in the contest, and I think it's at this point that quite often on a cup night like this we start to raise that big question over fitness levels.
Sure.
Have Brackley put a lot into it in the first 30 minutes, Adam?
I mean, they put everything into it so far. And the goal's certainly given Gillingham that little spring in their step now. Playing with a purpose, the movement off the ball now is there to be seen, so Justin Edinburgh will be delighted with that. They're 2-0 down, they're very flat-footed. Wasn't really a lot of movement in front of him. Now they've got that goal, they're making runs into the box, they're making overlaps as well.
Miles leaves it to run out of play, and Brackley can breathe a little here. Does it creep into the minds of players, the doubt, you know, you're leading 2-0, you can't get it done, you're leading 2-0 again tonight, and suddenly Gillingham are back in it again?
Yeah, it certainly is for Brackley. And history certainly can repeat itself, especially against a good footballing side like Gillingham.
Good win by Glenn Walker, has Brackley on the front foot again, and again a great run from midfield by Armson. He might have been in again.
You've got to still feel that Gillingham do have a mistake in that defence of theirs, so you certainly have to keep that pressure on them. Left-hand side again, causing problems. Walker. And again, he's just happy to make those runs into the box every time. That time, Hurd got back, read the danger.
Get up to the ball!
Well done by Byrne in a tight area. Aymer came onto it. Follow up by Glenn Walker. Dak beaten to it. Gillingham man has stayed down in the middle of the field. The referee happy to let Brackley come forward with Armstrong again. Tricking his way in there. Walker's cross was a great one, just behind and Love first time. It fell for Diggin. Almost.
Brilliant defending from Garmson. And then Max Aymer. Claiming a foul there on Hurd, so they still keep it alive. Brackley. Johnson there initially been using it, he turns his back. Look at Max Aymer, that's what you need from your centre-half, throwing your body in front of the ball. Stop it going towards the goal. It's great defending there from the centre-half.
Meantime, a little bit of concern surrounding Chris Hurd, who, as I mentioned, has had really awful luck with injuries throughout his career. Medial ligament was the last long-term injury he suffered, but I remember 4 or 5 years ago he was out for 2 long spells with ankle trouble.
It's certainly been a stop-start career for Chris.
Brought in by Edinburgh to do a job tonight. This was it, Adam.
There's too much in the challenge there from James Armstrong. It's just maybe if he's just twisted his ankle in the grass, getting his studs caught.
I think Armstrong would have claimed to win that duel, the individual battle so far in that area. It's been hard for Hurd.
Just lets it go now. Justin Edinburgh's just tinkering with his formation a little bit. Thomas is now partnering McDonald up front. He's got Dak in that hole. I think he's certainly better suited to try and make those runs into the box. It's entirely not just in that midfield role. We've heard just sitting in front of the back four. He's tinkering with formations this season, Justin Edinburgh.
Look at the ball!
He is a few men down at the moment because of injury, the Gillingham boss, and the schedule is doing them no favours this side of the new year either. If they do come through this, the trip to Blackpool will make it 9 games before the turn of the year, 6 of them away.
So Blackpool have certainly picked up in League Two, and Harry Barry has got them playing well. Kyle Vassell scoring goals for them. He's only lost 1 at home all season, so either side gets to that, they'll have a difficult game.
I only mentioned that run of fixtures because that may be the thinking behind leaving Josh Wright only among the substitutes tonight. If anybody's carrying a little knock, just to preserve them a little bit.
It's certainly important just to rotate the squads. If Justin Edinburgh, the league is the bread and butter for him after the disappointment missing out in the playoffs last season as well.
Chelsea in 17th spot at the moment. They finished 9th last time round. And maybe some lessons learned from last season, because you think back to Christmas time, they were actually 2nd in the league, weren't they? But they faded so badly. Big hole has opened up for Diggin here. It's Diggin for Brackley, and still Diggin. It's like watching Arsenal then for a minute, wasn't it?
And he knows he's just wasted a golden opportunity. I was talking about having an opportunity against this defence. Just look at the marking. Max Aymer's trying to play onside, running out. And he's through on goal, and sometimes at this level you just have a little bit too much time to think about it. Credit to Stuart Nelson, he comes off his line and makes it as difficult as possible for him. Just that one ball over the top.
2 or 3 opportunities, and for a man with his goal-scoring pedigree, I think he would have expected better of himself. We'll leave it at that. Maybe they can make something out of the corner here. 2 stoppage minutes. Should be Nelson's. Under a little bit of pressure from Graham.
I'm not afraid to leave one on the Gillingham goalkeeper at the minute.
Well, that flimsy defence with Paul Konchesky only in the crowd tonight. Did travel with the team, but rested basically. Konchesky scored that famous goal in the FA Cup final, the Stephen Gerrard Cup final. Oshilaja. Might be time for a bit more here from Brackley. Forward by Miles, who kept going, not had a second attempt to clear it. Diggins have changed the mood completely here at half-time, but he converted what was his clearest opportunity of the half. So much has gone so well for Brackley, yet again against Gillingham in the FA Cup. A brace tonight for Jimmy Armson, who's really in the goal-scoring form of his life, but the late goal by Jake Hessenthaler really transforms the mood here surely at half-time, and Gillingham have a lifeline here as they did in their first meeting at the Priestfield Stadium 10 days ago. But Brackley still lead and are still on course for the upset. Brackley 2, Gillingham 1 here at half-time. Edinburgh, and poor old Chris Hurd, I'm afraid the injury jinx has struck yet again. Hurd collected that knock on the ankle before half-time, and he will not complete again tonight. He's only managed to do that the full 90 minutes twice all season. But I suppose you could say they've got their first choice midfield three out there to try to keep them in the FA Cup now, Gillingham, as they trail 2-1 to this very accomplished Brackley side. But here goes MacDonald right from the kickoff. Hessenthaler right involved immediately, and tidy too. Hessenthaler. Jackson down the outside. Aymer. Might be quite reassuring, really, Adam, to bring your captain on at the break in this kind of a situation. We wonder where the fire was at times in that first half for Gillingham. We know he can apply some.
Yeah, I mean, certainly favours the way that they've now set up with right just in front of the back four, keeping that ball ticking over, the captain back on as well to really give them that performance in the second half.
Garbson made a little bit of headway late on, and he's lightning quick, this young left back. May just have overdone it then against Miles. Miles is no slouch either, incidentally, but this young fellow here, he was second in the English schools 200 metres. And his mum, famous sprinter from the late 70s, early 1980s, Sonia Lanneman, who was, from memory, an Olympic medalist in the relay. I think at the Moscow Olympics, 1980. I know it doesn't mean you're going to be a good footballer, incidentally. He's not let the side down so far tonight in his return for Gillingham. Dack has flitted in and out of it, perhaps to be expected tonight. I know he's got the quality, but, you know, he probably just needs a game or two, really, doesn't he? Yeah,
I mean, the injuries have certainly cost him this season to really get real momentum to carry on the quality and the goals that he scored last season. I certainly feel now playing that number 10 role will certainly suit him a lot more to make those runs into the box like he did for for the goal, he hits into the ground and got a shot on target. Led to Hesson Tyler's finish.
Armson gave chase, but Garcia then presented it to Armson. Always composed in possession then, even in that little cameo there, just kept his head and kept it ticking over Brackley. Very, very impressive. And again, not quite for end love, didn't quite read it really. Byrne, unfussy, has gone about his work in very tidy fashion though in that area of the field. Used it nicely too. Glenn Walker having a little go here against Jackson. Got to keep him quiet. I know he's been a little bit on the edge of it tonight, but he's got goals in this kid.
Now, it's important with Brackley with the fullbacks and Justin Edinburgh's side of midfield are playing a little bit more narrower. So the ball out wide early can really hurt Gillingham, especially with his pace as well, up against Ryan Jackson.
Diggin, of course, might have changed the mood completely had he kept going and just slotted it the way he's been doing all season before half-time. But from set pieces, Gillingham have got to watch for the likes of Gudger here. Armson takes it. That's where it went. I think it was actually Dean that time, wasn't it? But Dean and Gudger are always a handful in the opposition box.
Yeah, I mean, it's just showing Gillingham's vulnerability from set plays. Again, a free header there. Gareth Dean there. It was difficult though to get it on target. Justin Edinburgh will be absolutely fuming with his side again. Another free header for Brackley.
Walker working back. Jackson looks to launch it here. I mentioned the old way of doing it at Gillingham 10-15 years ago. It was all about set pieces, wasn't it? Long ball. It's whatever works for you. Trying to do it differently these days under Justin Edinburgh, but a little bit of mixing it up would never hurt. Fell nicely for Dak. And they'll get another throw from the other side. Shorter. Not. Whipped in. It just looked to have upped it a shade since half-time, Gillingham, Adam. Would that be right?
Yeah, 100% there, Paul. I'm sure Justin Edinburgh had a few words to say to his side at half-time. Really needed to up that tempo against a team that's part-time to really show your fitness, to get the ball moving as quickly as possible. And even from the kick-off, they closed the ball down well. They're playing a little bit more with a purpose, get the ball early forward.
Right, Emmanuel Thomas always looks to take somebody on and wriggle himself free. He's done it, and he went again. Emmanuel Thomas goes again, but I just wonder whether Gillingham had a penalty shout here as Dak went over.
There's Luke Graham with the challenge on Bradley Dak. Good interplay there. And Thomas showing his strength. And again, it's not just that little through ball. This angle here will tell me. For me, that's a penalty. Bradley Dak gets there first.
Here come Brackley. Not keeping it as well early in this second half, the home side here, as they did for most of the first period, although that will help the slip by Knott. Gamer out the middle, did well in the end, as did Miles, pressing on down that right for Brackley. Diggin. Miles happy to let it run out. Well, he dived in rather, Luke Graham, didn't he? Now this time it is a free kick to Brackley, as the Gillingham man dived in on Miles in the corner. Not.
Just slightly clumsy there, just going to get the heels there of Miles.
Well, they've already threatened once from a corner. This is as good as a corner, isn't it? And I suppose it's down now to how well it can be delivered by Glenn Walker.
That's where they got the goal from in the first game. From that side with the corner. The quality that he puts in with his left foot.
Godric was who scored. Graham came close a moment ago. Diggin went near post. And they get a corner out of this, Brackley.
Which is one of those ones whipped into the near post. Andy Garmson got tight with him that time to play it out for a corner.
Somebody on the Gillingham bench shouted, "Organise!" We could hear it. They need to. Nelson rather rooted to his goal line, but he got a good, strong fist to that and needed to. Gillingham survive it. Aimed at Emmanuel Thomas. Diggin looking to run in behind. Difficult to collect as it dropped over his shoulder, but he was willing. Yet to finish a game this season, Steve Diggin. Amazing, really, when he's got such a tremendous goal-scoring record. Always seems to have an impact, but never actually finishes the job off.
It's interesting that. I mean, he's been absolutely superb in front of goal this season, and a 33-minute hat-trick against Boston. So massive 3 points.
Robert Jones didn't see enough in this, Adam. Your verdict?
I think he's got this one wrong. You can just see clearly there, Bradley, that gets to the ball first, and you're talking about diving in. You've got to be so sure that it's a clumsy challenge. Luke Graham, for me, that is a penalty.
Duck again showed for it. I was just a little bit surprised the Gillingham players didn't make more out of it.
It's interesting you say that, Paul. You know, you're talking about hearing the word organised, leaders. That's what you need to do. You need to get around the referee.
Got a bit ragged back there again, but they got away with that one, Gillingham. I never thought I'd say this about a Justin Edinburgh side, with every possible respect to him, but they do look a bit nice. I'm not sure Justin wants them to be quite so nice.
And I think that's been a contributing factor this season, keeping clean sheets. The amount of times they've taken the lead this season, Sheffield United, Bradford, Charlton, Port Vale, Oldham, the list goes on. Haven't seen games out to get 3 points. And to me, that's about leaders, organisation, being ugly and winning games of football. You can play all the nice football, but on the side of the game, Paul, you need to be nasty. The best teams have that other side to them.
Well, he wasn't exactly as shrinking violet as a player, was he, Justin? Fine career he had, especially at Tottenham. On they go. There's a lovely little ball in by Adam Walker, and just as well that Jackson and Alicia got into position late on, because Gillingham again just looked all over the place here. First the right back Jackson goes over, and then he got great cover in the end from his centre back needed.
Ryan Jackson's looking at the referee. Robert Jones for a free kick. There's no contact there. Josh Ross putting his hand up in the air.
Emmanuel Thomas was alert. Aim a clear eventually. Does take them 2 or 3 goes most times though, doesn't it, to clear it. And here it comes again with Brackley. Armson tidy. They're backing off him. Oh, and Love on the stretch, so close.
Certainly a feature. Defensive frailties of Gillingham. They lose so many second balls on the edge of that box. And it's Armson instigating everything. Similar position to that goal he scored. This time unselfishly tried to set up Unlove. Just couldn't quite get that left leg there.
Might have been trying to set up Unlove, but he does also have that lovely left foot, and there's a goal further out, but the same kind of strike by Armson actually in the first game between the sides. Curling effort which did come back inside the posts at the Priestfield Stadium, so we'll never know which it was, but it was close either way. Have Brackley weathered a storm here early in the second half? They've come out to play again now. Miles just overdid it, really. Cleared by Wright. Dack gets a free kick. See, that's what does annoy a lot of people. They're the easy ones to give. Miles from the goal.
Exactly, and there's so many times that referee gives fouls on the edge of the box and outside the penalty area. Always hesitant to really make those decisions inside the box.
Certainly a bit more purposeful from Gillingham early in this second half, and of course the great charm of nights like this. We're right up close to the action here, and we're told that the walls were bouncing in that Gillingham dressing room at half-time as Justin Edinburgh rammed it home that he needed more in very forceful terms.
I don't blame him at all. Your travelling fans down away come to see their team playing. Just sometimes the desire is not there to be seen.
They're moving it better. And the classic, that's me told.
Always when you come to these games against sides that are below you and not in the Football League, you've got to match them for the desire. You've got to match them in every area. With work rate, ethic and quality on the ball. The side has given him everything tonight so far.
What would have been his message, do you think?
I think keep the ball a little bit better in midfield. I think to try and get the wing backs into play a little bit more, especially Glenn Walker down that left-hand side, who caused Ryan Jackson plenty of problems. And set plays. Make sure the delivery into the box is right, because we do look dangerous from them.
Aymar. On by Jackson. Right. Found the out ball. Oshilaja. Garmston. Backing himself, but taking too much on. Not awfully hard to knock the ball out of St James's Park completely. That one was the nearest we've come so far tonight. Lovely atmosphere here. Tremendous welcome everybody's had tonight. They've really showed their very best side, and it's such a pleasure to come and do these games. The record attendance here, just over 2,500. They won't get near that tonight because it is a night game. The 2,604 came for the playoff final against Halifax. That was in their first season in the National League North, when they very nearly got promotion up another level. Now Diggin, not quite, and Love, and he hit it. Oh, it's missed by just a whisker.
It all starts from the pressure of Adam Walker. Emmanuel Thomas, he dispatches him a play. Shalaj is doing there, trying to Cruyff that out. Really poor defending. If that's on target, that's in the back of the net. I have no idea what the centre-half's doing there, trying to Cruyff it out from there.
Adam, you're the professional. I just don't understand why Love gets so much time when the ball does fall to him there on the edge of the box.
You don't expect your centre-half to try Cruyff a clearance out from that distance. You're talking about nights like tonight. Play the game and not the occasion. Just clear that into row Zs. Stop trying to be too clever. And again, he's been caught on the ball.
Diggin working hard in that corner. And they've won it back well, Brackley. And Love this time! Oh, he nearly hit the other post. Going to be a corner. And just as well for Gillingham that one of the defenders got something on it.
Again, I was talking about Oselaji. You just got to clear it down the line. Clear it out for a throw-in. Plays it short to his fullback who gets caught. Love gets a great connection on it. Again, Stuart Nelson just watches that go past his post.
Maybe Wilkin felt that was a match-winning, tie-winning moment. Might still be. Gillingham have looked vulnerable in both games from these set pieces. Not far clear by Nelson. Deflection, and it took it away from goal. The initial hit by Byrne. Brackley look very threatening again here. And Gillingham all too vulnerable.
And I was talking about those second balls again, coming in from the cross. Just watch who wins that second ball there. Bradley Dack switches off on the edge of the box. Byrne gets there first. It's a shot on target, it just deflects wide. Again on the front foot. Samaja just comes off there to go wide.
Very, very fortunate for the Gills that he did that. Down by Emmanuel Thomas. Brackley are moving it well again now. On by Endlove. There goes Miles. Miles and Miles forward here, and Garmston in full retreat against him. Miles went all the way. Arnson for a hat-trick and surely for a place in the second round of the FA Cup.
And you see this time and time again. You get given these opportunities, and one of them has to hit the back of the net. Salaja again just sticks his right foot out. Has to be stronger with that, but brilliant play from the right-hand side from Ellis Miles. The man of the moment could have had his hat-trick.
Well, the smile may say, how did I do that when I've taken two tonight, which were much more difficult chances.
I think sometimes when they're spontaneous, you don't have time to think about it.
Bradley Dack is coming off for Gillingham, and Rory Donnelly is the replacement. Donnelly a striker, of course, but perhaps the evidence there that Dack will need a game or two or three maybe to get back to the top level in terms of fitness.
Yeah, you do, and when you've been out for a period of time, especially with your hamstring, you're slightly nervous to really push yourself. He's been in and out of the game, he certainly contributed towards the goal.
McDonald battling away, Donnelly back to MacDonald, and again Donnelly goes, getting involved right away. Jackson, nice by Emmanuel Thomas. They need a bit of his magic now, Gillingham. He's done that well. Jackson. Neymar didn't want it, did he? Now, while we watch Dack here, clearly not quite at the optimum fitness level, there's also a concern for Garmston, who's on the deck in the centre circle here, and I'm afraid Gillingham's injury jinx is continuing here. Hamstring has gone. Not saying don't even think about it, he cannot continue. So next it will be Scott Wagstaff, and they've been forced to play their hand here in terms of the changes, the visitors. Wagstaff, of course, himself missed 4 weeks with injury. It's turning into that kind of a season, isn't it, for Gillingham? Every time they get 2 or 3 back, 2 or 3 more drop out.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been the story of Justin's season so far. Started with pre-season with Lee Martin picking up that injury, and then Joe Quigley on loan, and all of a sudden he does his ACL. Aaron Morris again gets injured. Carlton at the start of the season dislocating that knee, as you said earlier, and again just picking up another hamstring injury. Bradley Dack in and out of the sides, hurt again, so injury list just continues for Justin Edinburgh's sides.
Got down to it eventually, the keeper, but it's turned in on the rebound, and Gillingham have got level. And what an impact by Wagstaff. It's his first touch. And Justin Edinburgh was forced to make a change, and somehow it worked out perfectly in Gillingham's favour.
Well, again, this is how quickly the tide can change. It's a perfectly weighted through ball. Emmanuel Thomas. Again, you question the goalkeeper. Does he need to be parrying it there into this area? But it's great interplay. The first time McDonald's really played on the shoulder, and that's what you do when the goalkeeper parries it. You need to follow it in. Scott Wagstaff with his first touch of this second half gets his side back into the game, and his manager is absolutely delighted.
His most meaningful touch for Gillingham in quite some time, given the time he's had to be on the sidelines with his own injury. So the parallels just keep coming. We're back to 2-2. Emmanuel Thomas. So can Brackley keep on getting their noses in front against Gillingham?
Well, they can't afford to keep missing the chances that they've missed all this game, Paul. I said that before. You keep missing those chances, they're going to come back and hurt you.
You know, Cups campaigns turn on these moments, don't they? Wagstaff was sitting and watching, and nothing much was happening for Gillingham in front of goal. And suddenly he's involved in the action and making an instant impact. Byrne kept it ticking over nicely for Brackley. Who would write them off? Got such a tremendous record. And Love. Little bit late by End Love. Still to have a card tonight. Now, you wouldn't quite say it was a Mark Robbins-style cut moment, but Garmston, who's done little wrong, the poor lad pulls his hamstring, he has to go off. Wagstaff is brought on, probably against the manager's plan. 1 minute 17 later, it's 2-2, with Wagstaff's first touch.
Yeah, I mean, he just uses all of his experience following. Certainly wasn't a substitution that Justin Edinburgh would have made. I'm sure he's happy he's done it now.
Donnelly leaves it, here comes Jackson. Wasn't a bad one from him, just not enough power on it. Nice idea. No problems for Laurie Walker. Hassan Tyler again gets into a good position there.
Just dropping a little bit deep now, Brackley. Problem sometimes is that the wing-backs do drop in to a flat back five, and that allows the likes of Jackson to get forward as much as possible.
Armson. All that, of course, after Armson spurned what was his best chance of the night.
Certainly Unlove as well across the near post, and digging towards the end of the first half as well.
Here goes Hessenthaler. Just too much on it for MacDonald. Might yet come for Gillingham. Great piece of defending by Miles. Out as far as Diggin. Shalaja stuck to his guns well then. FA Cup story continues tomorrow night on BT Sport. Dover against Cambridge. It's been a very good week for the National League clubs so far. That's BT Sport 1 tomorrow evening and in ultra high definition. And from this division of the National League, that's the Northern Division, 2 winners already in home replays this week, and for a long time tonight Brackley have looked like they'd make it 3.
They've certainly got to keep the belief. I mean, the second goal really numbed the atmosphere in the ground.
That's tidy. Very, very important clearance. Gudger it was who dived in. Emmanuel Thomas, just beyond Amer. Cleared by Armson. Diggin has got 2 to take on here. Jackson was tempted to go for it. Jackson's been pulled down by Diggin. I thought for a moment he was going to just go for it, young Jackson, instead of standing his ground.
I certainly believe that his pace, Steve Diggin would have got him the better of it. Now the ball to bounce, you're always going to put yourself in that little bit of pressure.
kind of worked off Donnelly, the target man there. More of his shoulder than his chest, wasn't it? Let's see what he can do on the ground here. He's a bit slow onto that. And then it's presented right back to him. Hessenthaler. Switch by right. Incidentally, Wright is wearing the captain's armband since he came on at half-time, relieving Stuart Nelson of that responsibility. Emmanuel Thomas. That's Gudger again. Armson. As you said, dropping a bit deep. There wasn't a lot on as he got his head up then. Tried to get it out to Glenn Walker, and it worked out in the end rather well. Here goes Walker. Hessenthaler matching him, might just run it out. I know Gillingham fans must be sick and tired of this. You know, they're hoodoo in the FA Cup in recent years. 3 successive seasons they've gone out in the first round, but with what, about 30 minutes on the clock tonight, you would not have given them a prayer of ending that run here tonight. They are very firmly back in it now. Emmanuel Thomas. Jackson had to stop for it, but they're dominating the ball at the moment. Right. Wagstaff. Emmanuel Thomas. Donnelly was the target. The old up and under by Byrne. We don't see that very often from this Brackley side. Maybe a bit of tiredness creeping in, I don't know.
I mean, you mentioned that in the first half, that fitness from the Parkside side was certainly coming in. Justin Edinburgh's side have got complete dominance of the ball. Josh Wright now midfield now is springing passes left, right and centre.
Billy Knott takes over. Donnelly eventually given offside. It's all Gillingham suddenly though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they've reacted well in this second half, Justin Edinburgh's side.
He was given offside, was he?
Very, very tight.
He believes in what he's doing, Justin Edinburgh, very brave, and he may yet get a reward for making a Gillingham side play football. Glenn Walker to Adam Walker. Brackley get it. Armson. Nice little layoff to Glenn Walker. Cleared first time by Oshalaja. Donnelly gives chase and just putting Luke Graham under a little bit of pressure, but he doesn't panic easily, this Luke Graham. Was the captain here until the arrival of Gareth Dean. Another win by Lashaja. Byrne. Been unfussy tonight, but quite effective in that holding role for Brackley. Shane Byrne. Goalkeeper Nelson gets there.
Just certainly lost their way now, Brackley, just in keeping the ball in the tempo. Justin Edinburgh just happy to leave Donald and Donnelly up front on their own. Really happy for them to come back.
And Love, Adam Walker takes over. Got a good left peg, drops it off to Diggin, rather than having to hit himself. Gudger loved doing that, didn't he? Free header. Byrne again. Jackson back to Nelson, and back again they go. That's good by Donnelly. MacDonald was the link. Emmanuel Thomas in behind the two. Donnelly. It's a good build-up. And they might get an end product from it. Hessenthaler! Oh, it's a beautiful move. But his luck is out tonight so far. Again, Cody MacDonald in the FA Cup.
And again, you can just see the quality now, Gillingham in that final third, the little give and goes. This is what happens now. When you get tired, you tend to ball watch a lot. That's where the quality of these Football League players, the fitness comes in, making those runs in behind you. Hasn't been quite his night so far. Cody MacDonald. The switch is on for Brackley down the right-hand side with Ellis Miles. Playing slightly lopsided at the moment, Gillingham. Hessenthaler on the right-hand side. Billy Norton right, just in those two central midfield roles. Emmanuel Thomas in that number 10 role, which Bradley Dack was playing towards the end of the first half and the beginning of the second half. So they get the switch on out the right-hand side. They've got acres of space for Miles to run into.
Right, scurrying away for all his work in the middle of the park for Gillingham. Goalkeeper a little bit short of options this time. He has to go along with it. Right onto Diggins' head and all the way through. Dean. Just a reminder about the goals as they go in from 2:30 on BT Sport 1. Live in the Premier League, it is Tottenham Hotspur against West Ham from 5. And then we hear from all the Premier League bosses, the reflections on the day in the Premier League, in the Premier League Tonight show from 8 PM on Saturday.
I think it's a really important 5 to 10 minutes now, especially these next 5 minutes for Brackley, because they're looking tired, they're not keeping the ball, giving away cheap free kicks. They're staying with their runners. There's real urgency now with the away side to really get this third goal.
"10 minutes to sort it out, or it is extra time." And I suppose somewhere watching on will be Harrogate, Town and Walsall respectively, and they'll be quite happy to see these two sides extended into another 30 minutes tonight, because they're the next opposition in the National League and in League One for Brackley and Gillingham, with the fixtures beginning to pile up just a little bit. And of course in Brackley's case it's not a very deep squad. And as Adam Virgo has pointed out, the worry for Gillingham is the injuries they keep on picking up. On by Wagstaff. Hessenthaler. Emmanuel Thomas. He's threatened to do something special. On by Wright. Wagstaff just drops it off. A lot of chasing here for Brackley to do, but Adam, is it important that they keep their shape, keep their heads?
Communication's massive now, they haven't got the ball.
Nice show by MacDonald. Hessenthaler gave it back to him, out again to Emmanuel Thomas. And he does have a hit in the end. There's a little bit of movement on it, but not enough to trouble Laurie Walker.
We were just right behind that one when he struck it. Always comfortable there for Laurie Walker. Again, you're talking about being deep, Brackley, which they are. They're not really happy to squeeze up and put pressure on Emmanuel Thomas.
His first taste of life in the FA Cup is not something he cares to remember very much. It was with Arsenal on the day they were famously bombarded by Stoke City. There's another Tony Pulis connection. What was that? One of the early rounds in 2010, I think, when Arsenal just capitulated at Stoke. Emmanuel Thomas was part of the Arsenal side that day and took an awfully long time to get over it. In fact, some would say he never got over it in terms of what Arsenal thought of him. Not saying he was to blame for it, but he was there. And here is a free kick in a very threatening position, won by Diggin for Brackley.
It's Max Aimer that goes tight to him. It's a challenge there from the centre half, and you see Diggin just gets the ball slightly just before him. It's a really good range.
It could be a big moment, but you cannot tell me that that foul was worse than the one not given in the opposition penalty box some time ago now.
100%. The tackle on Bradley Dack from Luke Graham was certain penalty for me. So you're talking about inside the box, outside the box.
Now then, Glenn Walker, time and again he's got big goals for Brackley. Is there another one in him tonight? The winner in the replay against Gillingham here 3 years ago. It's Byrne instead, and not enough pace on it.
Stuart Nelson certainly felt this was going towards his near post. Such a difficult angle and distance out to really get it up and over the wall. Comfortable height for the goalkeeper there. Maybe one that you just take off the line a little bit and you go and strike it. That breaks up the wall sometimes, and that's where you get those deflections.
The sadness of it for Brackley is that the first meaningful moment in front of goal in quite some time in this second half. It's another Gillingham free kick here, won by Wagstaff. Right, out to Jackson. Walker got very close to him. Donnelly did well. Hassan Tyler wants to get on with it.
So they'll be looking for the long throw again.
Well, after all the big build-up, that was rather ordinary, wasn't it? Back to how they do it best, this Gillingham side, along the deck. Tidy again by Jackson. Shalada did well, very well. A very important block again by Graham. Just a sense now that Brackley are hanging on. Emmanuel Thomas. On by Wright. Wagstaff. Telegraphs that rather. They have to start over again, the Gills. All the way back to Nelson. Wagstaff was just taken out as the ball went away. Think about him in Miles.
That's a couple now for him. Wagstaff a couple of minutes ago when he went tight.
So at last a card in this cup tie for Ellis Miles.
Just sure it's more of a concession of fouls from Ellis Miles, the fullback.
I suppose at this stage of the game, when you think, oh, I've come a long way here, I better make some kind of an impact now I've come all this way.
So you go that far out, sometimes you just need to make the foul. Be happy now just to throw the ball into the box, Gillingham. They're not too scared to go direct in this second half. They've had plenty of width out wide to Jackson, especially down that right-hand side.
Long by Nelson. Actually could have run out of play behind the goal line if Godger ducked out of the way of it. In the end, it's possession for Gillingham.
Just going back to what you're saying, you really feel that Brackley just holding on now to see this half, this game out into extra time.
Now Jackson's last attempt wasn't very good from this. That's a bit better. Right. Blocked out and out to Jackson again. Glenn Walker stuck to his guns well, very well.
The game against Boston, Brackley, they really struggled with the long throw into the box that game. I know they went on to win the game. Boston had so many chances. They do struggle with, especially throw-ins from that distance, that angle as well. So it's important now they just really switch on and give absolutely everything.
Clearly it's something Gillingham have talked about doing, but the delivery's just not really been threatening enough. Jackson still fancies himself to get one right. Fourth time lucky, we shall see now. Emmanuel Thomas goes for it. Not quite for Knott. Dig in, trying to get on the end of this. Gathers it in well, needs a bit of help. Byrne, very tidy tonight, Byrne, unfussy. Walker, Byrne again, looking to play forward, not a lot on. Walker does hoist it out there, and a little bit of indecision again between those centre-backs.
So they've been partners for the majority of the season. Cody Cargill hasn't been allowed to play tonight.
Yeah, just at a time when he was beginning to make a big impact, Cargill, and Gillingham were very disappointed that he could not be released for the FA Cup. I suppose in its own way it's a compliment. Brackley's turn to make the change now, and they presumably think that David Moyo could be a match winner here without the need for extra time if they can get him on there and Diggin. It's not been his night by his very high standards, Steve Diggin, but they love him here, and of course he may yet have a part to play in the FA Cup this season if they do get through this one tonight, Brackley. Moyo just 21, and in contrast to Diggin's exploits, just one goal this season. Emmanuel Thomas with the knock-on, MacDonald looking for Donnelly.
Trying to claim the foul originally on Emmanuel Thomas, that there wasn't really any advantage played.
Dean Trevelyan doing the duty on the dugout side. Miles kept scrapping for it, but he was out-muscled in the end. Good work by Adam Walker to retrieve it for Brackley. That's sure to be a free kick, isn't it?
I think Justin Edinburgh just panics now every time one of his players goes down after a tackle. This time Wagstaff.
Get together then!
Right, positive ball from him. A bit optimistic from Donnelly, really. 3 minutes of stoppage time.
Hey, we need to get closer, chaps, come on! Come on! Come on!
Nobody's leaving. Wagstaff, who has set this up for extra time with that goal so soon after coming on. Emma. Got it done eventually, and again Hessetala joining in well, not quite for MacDonald. Well, it would be cruel now on Brackley, but Gillingham may feel they've dominated play here in the second half and might be worthy of creating one last chance.
Certainly for the last 25 minutes they've been in complete control with the ball, getting the ball out wide, making runs into the box.
They've sent Amer in there. That's his head. MacDonald went for it. Gillingham have got a corner.
It's really now for Brackley just to hold on, stay tight with your man, make sure It's not your man that goes and scores the goal.
Could Edinburgh and Gillingham win it from a set piece? They've been so vulnerable at the other end defending them. Could it be their route to victory and a place in the second round now? Aimer showing where he wants it. Hessenthaler swings it in there. It's got to be quick here now. Right. Emmanuel Thomas. He can't dally over this. He's got to get it in there, surely. That's where it's gone. Goalkeeper thought about coming for it, and his centre-backs bailed him out brilliantly. Might have more to do, and it's wide, and that surely will mean extra time. It does mean extra time. Well, it's the irresistible force against the immovable object in some here in this FA Cup first round tie over 2 90-minute sessions, 2-2 both times round. Wagstaff came off the bench and levelled it for Gillingham as they fought back from a 2-goal deficit after Armson squandered what could have been a match-winning opportunity, and a personal hat-trick would have been the ideal FA Cup fairy tale, but in the...
And still they can't be separated, just like the first game, 2 each. This one they will have to go to extra time. Kevin Wilkin, of course, has just made his first change. Steve Basham, do you still believe?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's 30 minutes left. Brackley, they've got to dig deep, they've got to believe in themselves, and they've got to go at it. They've got to forget what's happened in the last half an hour of that half, because they were tiring, but it's half an hour left and they've got to dig deep.
OK, we'll hear more from the touchline at full time in extra time. Of course, we may yet go 2 penalties back. In the meantime, to Adam and Paul.
Yes, Matt, here we go again then, and it's a familiar routine from Brackley's point of view at least. In the FA Cup first round, the replay eventually went their way 3 years ago against Gillingham, but also against Newport County. Last season they went to a replay and beyond. Hard to know how they freshen up the legs, Adam. These part-time players who have given so much to this first round of the FA Cup so far this season again.
I mean, whatever happens, I can safely say they've taken the League One side to a draw after 90 minutes, and Kevin Wilkins will be absolutely delighted that his players have done that. I think psychologically, sometimes when you just have a 5-minute break, that you can get together, sort your tactics out a little bit, get a message across to the players for the way that they want to play.
Advantage played in Gillingham's favour. Can they make it count here? It's Donnelly, he's given offside again. He strokes that one home well, but it won't count. Alex Gudger, that was his lunge on the halfway line as the move built up.
It certainly was a yellow card on Gudger, but you'll be looking at his run just to be timed a little bit more better. When you've got an angle to look down the line, the player's got time on the ball to pass.
Little argument. Happily, Hessenthaler's on his feet and able to continue. And Love. Loaded up on that Brackley bench with striking options. They've already brought Moyo on. They have David Pitt, Lee Cox, who's a midfield player who loves to get forward. Might say the same about Lewis Rankin. Let's see if Moyo can get involved. Not that time. Oshilaja. Donnelly wanted it played over the top, but that's not going to work for them. Gareth Dean read that all night long. Here's Moyo. Second best for large parts of that second period, Brackley, but we know they can play. Minds and bodies apparently refreshed here. Been a brisk start to extra time. Walker had the attempt. Armson gets the corner.
It's been a bright start for the home sides. It's taken a lot of pressure in those last 30 minutes of the second half. I'll be delighted the way these teams come out. Had tired legs towards the end of that second half, but they've really come out with a real urgency to try and get the ball forward, trying to get into pockets of spaces as well. But again, always believe you'll get a chance at set plays against this defence.
Nelson came for it and flapped at it, got it second time.
Oh, he's a lucky boy there. Doesn't really have any pressure on him whatsoever. Jackson in the end just gets in his way at the last minute.
I never know why defenders do that. Is it potentially because they just think, oh, my keeper won't deal with it? Or is it because they're just not listening to the goalkeeper, telling them to get out of the way?
Yeah, I mean, if Peter Schmeichel was behind him, I'm sure you get out of the way. It's just a really loud call from the goalkeeper. There's no communication there. You sometimes have to take the initiatives that protect the goalkeeper.
Emmanuel Thomas keeps on threatening to have a big impact on this cup tie, but it hasn't happened.
Justin Edinburgh was just talking to him to try and be a bit more positive when he gets the ball.
It's a lovely ball forward by Adam Walker. Glenn Walker takes over, goes again. Yes, it is a corner.
And again, when you get into the game in that second half, Glenn Walker, this time a lot more positive. Getting at the fullback Jackson. Just takes a deflection off the fullback.
Now Walker has gone all the way across. Nelson, well, in fairness, that was decent in the end, wasn't it, by Stuart Nelson?
They're difficult ones. Straight under the bar, you're expecting it to go out. Players in and around him. That was a good hand there from the goalkeeper, especially after the one before.
But it all encourages Brackley to create this crowd scene in front of the goalkeeper every time and just drop it into that area. Shane Byrne from the other side. Let's see if his can be as good as the previous one by Walker. Went all the way through and it's ended up in the net, and it's worked a charm for Brackley. Poor old Stuart Nelson. Brackley have gone in front in this cup tie for the third time overall.
Well, it's Cody McDonald on the edge of the 6-yard box. Stops the corner coming in. You just wonder how late Stuart Nelson actually sees this from Shane Byrne. I always said they're vulnerable from set plays. And here's McDonald at the near post. You see him there, pushes him out of the way. I don't really think the goalkeeper can do too much about it. You've got a Gillingham player there. It just goes away from McDonald at the last minute, and to concede a goal straight from a corner, Justin Edinburgh will be absolutely furious.
As you say, maybe the prime blame not to be laid at the door of Stuart Nelson on that occasion, but who would really have picked Shane Byrne, with all the good goal scorers in this Brackley side, to be the man to potentially push them into the second round of the FA Cup in that fashion? And here they come again with Armson, a much more likely goal scorer, as he's proven again, and Love surely was offside.
It's been their Achilles heel all season, and it's been their Achilles heel tonight for the first goal and now the third goal. Defending set plays, you come away to these games, I've said before, you defend set plays properly and you give the other team a lot of respect. You go through, you just turn up and expect it to happen for you. You're not with egg on your face, and at the moment, for all the possession they had in that last half an hour, the way that Brackley have come out in this second half, it's really made it into a great cup tie now.
Surely Gillingham cannot keep on coming back. Surely. Except this is the FA Cup.
Of course. I mean, they were 3-0 down at Chesterfield this season and got back to 3-3. So they certainly got it in them, but they do make it hard for themselves.
Jackson, no problem then for Gudger. He's become more influential the longer this game has gone tonight, Adam Walker. Another lovely weight on that ball, and Love! Now they're claiming a handball this time, Brackley. It was Wagstaff.
Credit there to Adam Walker, the desire to get that ball through. Cross that near post, does strike the right hand. Scott Wagstaff, you see it there, he's out on the right. I think he's got a great case there.
The ball surely was going toward the goal, and somebody's arm stopped it. His arm. Right, well, there couldn't be any clearer warning as to what may happen next. Same idea, but this time it was a clear header by MacDonald. Right, run off it. Suddenly Brackley transformed and energised. Moyo!
It's just amazing how much time he gets there to get the turn and shot on. You'll be looking at Shilaja to get tighter with him.
Billy Knott. And not quite that time for Donnelly. Jackson. Donnelly needs to keep it a bit better than that. Amer. It has swung one way and then the other. Nobody's going to be surprised if Gillingham take over again in terms of control of the ball and the territory, but from somewhere they need a goal quite urgently. Wagstaff trying to get away from Love, and then Miles. Gone a long way, did really well to get a corner.
Well, it's really important now that the momentum of the goal that Brackley have got, that just don't drop too deep. As we saw at the end of that second half, the quality that Gillingham do possess, they do like to keep the ball and play football.
Can Brackley defend a corner any better than Gillingham? Seemed to be an arm then too. Returned by Jackson. I think it'll be well worth another look in a second, that one. Wagstaff. Right. Still they play their stuff, Gillingham. It's often very easy on the eye, but what counts for them now is what happens when it gets up to that penalty box.
Yeah, it's all right keeping the ball. If you go sideways and backwards, you need those forward passes and crosses into the box now.
Hessenthaler from a long way out. Lovely strike, but really good work by Laurie Walker. And unlike the goal earlier, he got it clear of the danger area.
Yeah, Matt Lawrence was saying that at half-time. Talking about Brackley being deep, and this is what happens. You can get that strike on goal, sees it well. Like the first goal, he gets a good hand on it, passes it out wide.
Well, no doubt that the hands were at work legally then, but what about that previous incident in the Brackley penalty box there? Gudger doing his best to look completely innocent.
Just one of those where he just bounces in front of you off the header. Gets his sort of hit first and then onto his arm.
In fairness, always to the referee and his assistants, it is the angle they see it from as well, isn't it? Now, down the other end a few minutes ago, Wright was on the line, and the goalkeeper, Nelson, I don't know whether he's distracted by Wright or something further out.
The ball's going away from McDonald. You got Wright on the post, and then the last person is Nelson.
Who will finally get the credit for it? Byrne claimed it, rightly so. The sub has been made meantime by Brackley, and Matt Lowe is on. And confirmation that it was Lee and Love who's been replaced by Brackley, and Lowe has gone into a forward area. It's all about the forwards on the Brackley bench, really. I suppose the only player you could say is like a defender or a holding midfield player is the assistant boss, Mark Noon. So loads of fresh energy of the bench. Moyo proving that point. And here comes Lowe. Armson steers it home. The hat-trick in the FA Cup goes for Jimmy Armson. And surely now, there is no way back for Gillingham. And Brackley are heading to Blackpool. I feel like I've said that before tonight, but I mean it this time.
Well, this is the goal of the night for me. To have the composure. And again, you'd be looking at Osalajo. What is he doing here? I don't know. The ball over the top causes problems time and time again. He's got so much time. You need to clear that. Josh Wright tries to make some amends, but that is an unbelievable finish from the hat-trick hero tonight. James Armson into the top corner. They pressed on the mistakes. And that is a brilliant finish, Paul.
And I may say, it's what we expected of Armson when he had that chance to put them in a 3-1 lead.
Yeah. I mean, it was a great composed finish. You're 3-2 up, you get that opportunity when you've got a little bit of time to think. Stuart Nelson off his line. But again, kamikaze defending from Gillingham.
Goodness me, they make it hard for themselves, Gillingham, don't they? And it'll be a hard morning tomorrow when they wake up and look back on this, unless they can yet again drag themselves. Extra time. Wagstaff. Right. God, you got something on it. We've played 16 minutes in this first period of extra time. Adam Walker, he's become so influential the longer this has gone, so tidy in possession. Here goes Miles. Well, that's as good as anything, isn't it, to run it down there. And now we do get the chance to turn round, but it's all gone in the direction of Kevin Wilkin and Brackley in the last 10 minutes or so here. And Armson has got his hat-trick. Brilliantly finished goal as Gillingham's defensive unit just fell apart again, and Justin Edinburgh has got to lift his team once again.
It's a massive team talk for Justin Edinburgh to try and galvanise something in these last 15 minutes. And he cannot be happy whatsoever.
Been the story of their season, only one clean sheet in 30 games before tonight. They've conceded 4 times to non-league opponents here. Well, they've seen plenty of exciting cup moments here in the last 3 or 4 years. This will top it all for Brackley. Every time they were written off and looked tired, they found more. Part-time footballers. They'll all be at work tomorrow.
Oh, they will be, and this is what the magic of the FA Cup is all about. When you think things are going against you, these part-time players have this innate feeling to find something from somewhere. should have had this game dead and buried by now. He really should have done, especially the chances and the quality and the amount of possession they've had in this game.
You know, I think he would tell us that's the story of his season, I'm afraid, for Gillingham.
I completely agree. I mean, it's 23 away goals now conceded, and
he actually did say, just in Edinburgh, look, don't be fooled by this run of poor results. There hasn't been one game that we've not been in all the way. But, you know, you are judged on what goes in the record book. He knows that, unfortunately. And Brackley have to survive for 15 more minutes to write their own latest page in the FA Cup's gilded history.
So what Gillingham are doing now, what Justin Edinburgh was saying, they're just going to launch it now. I think the ball... Playing the ball out wide is going to go out the window. Emmanuel Thomason now is so important. Just be angry for the next 15 minutes. Try and win as many flick-ons as you can. You can leave yourself open at the back a little bit.
Lowe, he made an instant impact. There's several of the substitutes have had tonight. And here goes Moyo. Brilliant back time by Nelson. Well done to the goalkeeper. On the follow, it's Glenn Walker.
It's a good save there from Stuart Nelson. We saw this in this game so far. Brackley haven't taken their chances, and Gillingham have come back with goals. But they're going to leave themselves open at the back, but great pressure there from Lowe. Takes it off Knott. Brilliantly timed run. That was a good save. He tried to go for the chip over him.
Down the line. That'll do. Moyo back to Glenn Walker. Gillingham ball.
It's important that Brackley just don't cause their own problems. Just be sensible, clear the line, squeeze up the pitch, just chase everything down.
On by Josh Wright, who gets a free kick. Right, you were telling me that I think it's his brother is a star of The Only Way is Essex. Right now, the only way is forward for Gillingham, and quickly.
They just need to get it forward now. As I mentioned earlier, Justin Edinburgh in his half-time team talking extra time. Just get the ball forward quickly, not overplay every single time.
Nicely struck pass. Wagstaff. Miles did enough. Lowe gave chase. He's played his hand so well off the bench tonight as well, Kevin Wilkin, hasn't he? Every time it's happened, the player coming on has had a big part to play in energising Brackley's effort.
Yeah, exactly what you need, and talking about the quality of manager, which he is, and he's certainly got this side playing. You think going back to last season where they stayed up on goal difference on the last game of the season, and the way that he's turned it around, he's rejuvenised his squads, brought in players that he's known from Nuneaton. Solihull impact as well.
Yeah, in either side taken together, only 3 players. Quite a turnaround both ways, isn't it? As we suggested a long time ago tonight, but only 3 players who featured in this fixture 3 years ago are involved now. It's all going Brackley's way. Very tidy in the corner and long to Lowe. Aimer to Nelson. Have you been in this situation where the clock's against you and you need more than 1 goal? I mean, how did Gillingham look upon this task, Adam?
Well, they just need a bit more quality on the ball. When you're training every single day with each other and you're dealing under pressure, you have to do better. You believe that you get 1 chance. If they can get a goal, you certainly feel that you can get another one against this Brackley side, because the pressure will all be on them, knowing that they can just keep coming and coming with their fitness. They need to find a goal pretty soon.
Miles has gone over and he's won a free kick against Wagstaff.
Certainly a bit of frustration there from Scott Wagstaff. A bit of game management now. Don't throw it into the box to give Gillingham the chance to come and claim it and get it down to the other end. Just try and play into the corner. Play for fouls, play for throwing yourself.
Byrne has clearly read that script. That's where it's gone. So often doing games like this, a part of it is that there are always going to be players playing for teams like Brackley who did not have league careers, who were just denied that opportunity for one reason or another, and this is their chance to show that they should have had.
I mean, you look at James Armstrong tonight, former Nuneaton player that Kevin Wilkin knows very, very well. He's won the National Leagues with Solihull as well, so he knows what it takes to win, but you're always looking at that opportunity to play in the league, and National League players, as we've spoken about over the years, the most famous one, of course, is Jamie Vardy, that's gone on to do well, Lee Gregory at Millwall.
It's behind MacDonald, and it's almost beyond Gillingham now. Down the line by, it's a beautiful ball from Glenn Walker. Here's Moyo again. They know what they're about here, Brackley. No need to push it. That'll do nicely, very nicely.
He's just done exactly the right thing there. Could have got carried away. On towards the goal. David Moyo. Brilliant ball down the line from Walker. And again, just take your time now.
Gillingham have under 10 minutes. Walker again. Old-handed all this, isn't he? And he's relishing every second of it once more in the FA Cup. Moyo. Miles showed for it down the outside. Here he is. Well, they're just keeping them turned and keeping them chasing back, and it's going to work perfectly for Brackley now.
It's important, as you said before, so many times they've dropped off in that second half especially, and allowed so much pressure on them. When you've got that goal and you've got the momentum, energies are really rising high with this Brackley side. They've just found this extra bit of energy from somewhere.
And unfortunately for Justin Edinburgh and Gillingham, this run of results, the fragile confidence, they got over the line. Oh, that might help. MacDonald is in. He's going to score here, surely, and this cup tie just keeps on giving, because MacDonald has been presented with a gift to make it 4-3.
I'm saying now, this is game on. This is going to be a big, big finish now. Talking about concentration, doing the right things. And that man there is just giving him side a lifeline. Hey, Graham, the man caught on the ball. Good pressure. In fairness to Cody McDonald, he kept his composure. Took it around Laurie Walker. Playing in the wrong areas. You're talking about the fitness. Brilliant, brilliant pressure there from Donnelly. And now he's giving his side a massive lifeline. We've got a real finish, Paul.
Cody MacDonald's first ever FA Cup goal. And might not be the last. It might not be the last chapter on this FA Cup story. Wright wants to get on with it. Oh, steady. Unseemly as it is, the one team it's not going to trouble too much should be Brackley. Gillingham need to get on with it.
Yeah, you do expect a little bit more from Josh Wright there. Waved his arms around and leant his head towards. Seems certainly a foul there. Thompson grabs onto him. You have to be so careful there. You can just see him lean his head in towards him.
both got yellows, we believe. Aimer had to go back for it. Five minutes or thereabouts for the Gills to keep their FA Cup season going and prevent yet another first-round exit. Armstrong did well. Moyo drives through the middle, he wasn't seen. Byrne. Hessenthaler goes over, it's a free kick against Adam Walker. Twice I've written them off, stupid me, because I just have a funny feeling that Gillingham are going to get a chance here.
They will get one. They keep getting away cheap fouls like that with the height that they've got. Neil Thomas.
Jackson sends it up there. It's a great win by Dean. Wagstaff. Good looking ball. Oh, brilliant, absolutely brilliant that time by Graham. Not. It keeps coming back now. Moyo it was that time who got clear, and here goes Lowe, he's clear, and look at Moyo steaming down the middle. Gillingham have only got one player back, it's Moyo, and he couldn't end the argument.
Oh, what an opportunity that was for David Moyo. Looking for the pass from Lowe, just to be in front of him. When he passes it, he just puts it behind him a little bit. Just hesitates to get that first touch out of his feet and then just drags it past the post.
Brackley are inching their way toward it, but there's still life in this cup tie. It's been remarkable, a mini FA Cup classic. Another great win by Gudger. Armstrong. Everybody here is just imploring with him to get in that corner where he had the little scrimmage with Wright, and he obliges. Are there any takers this time? Oshilaja is going to try and keep his head. That's what Gillingham need him to do, and better again if he can win it, which he has done. Well done, they've played their way out of that corner. Hessenthaler. Wagstaff is free down the right-hand side. If Hessenthaler can see him, it's short to Emmanuel Thomas, and time is short for Gillingham. Into MacDonald it goes. Gudger yet again, brilliant. Hard to pick up an individual hero in this cast of heroes for Brackley, but they may have a bit more defending to do. Gudger yet again. Hessenthaler couldn't win it. Aimer concedes the free kick. Lowe's poleaxed, isn't he?
Free kick there, got the biggest cheer of the night.
Even now, they hope rather than believe, just on everything we've seen over two games again between these two cup rivals. Nobody seriously thought it would just be a rerun and then some of the first cup meeting 3 years ago. But that has been the way of it. Approaching 30 minutes played in extra time.
To get the ball forward now.
Wright goes back. Jackson Hopefully up toward Emmanuel Thomas, who gets a good knock on, and he's got it at his feet now. In by Wagstaff. Again, Emmanuel Thomas. It's a free kick to Brackley, and it's surely going to be enough.
Safely say it sums up that man's evening there. Giving away a cheap foul.
Justin Edinburgh's asking how long. Actually, there are going to be 2 additional minutes. So still, celebrations might be premature here for Brackley. They'll all be hugging and kissing in a minute or two. Wagstaff, there's no time for any of that dillying and dallying, it's got to go in. Well, I think they've given up on the long throw routine because it's not worked tonight from Jackson. Maybe they'll give somebody else the opportunity. Either way, it's got to get into that penalty box for Gillingham. Emmanuel Thomas is going to try his hand, and he wasn't much better than Jackson. Not, it's going over the top, and Gillingham look like they're going out.
Manager.
Surely even he has been surprised by how deep his players have dug. Hauled back, morale was on the floor, but they lifted themselves brilliantly. And Gillingham played a lot of good football, but could not put the ball in the net. Squandered chances. Some would say they have been slightly naive in the way they've gone about it at times. They certainly have a soft centre. The record proves that, and they're going to pay a heavy price for that, I'm afraid, for all the noble intentions. It shapes to be yet another first-round exit, and Brackley Town are going to Blackpool in the FA Cup second round. They have done it, and done it the hard way. History repeats itself. They get a draw in the first game at Gillingham, and they win a replay, but they had to work even harder. They found plenty of heroes. Armson will be remembered for his hat-trick, but hard to pick one individual out of all of those who play for Brackley here tonight, each one of whom is a club hero forever after what they've done here tonight. Wilkins' team have been absolutely fantastic.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to be here tonight and witness another great cup upset. It's one of the greatest cup competitions in world football, the FA Cup. Teams like Brackley keep these dreams alive for people.
Justin Edinburgh, it's no place for a loser any time in the FA Cup, and how well he knows that, of course. The highs as a player early in his career, but this is unfortunately a very low moment, understandably, and for all his Gillingham players. But they were matched in so many ways, weren't they? Despite the, 60-odd places on the ladder, it would be hard to say that there was one set of players individually who were look more accomplished in this cup tie than the other. And they wanted it so badly, the part-timers. They kept on finding more. Amazing individual commitment, and the collective was enough. And they exposed all the little weaknesses in what Gillingham are trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, defensively tonight, Gillingham really let themselves down. And they really capitalised on that. And they just kept going and going, letting go another 2-goal leads. And that desire just to keep plugging in deep, getting themselves this victory.
To think that some people said that the FA Cup just didn't mean so much anymore. Look at these scenes. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. It's no place for losers, of course. It's all about the winners who have written their names into the FA Cup history, not just for their club and not just for their division. Remember, it's been a great week for the National League North. 3 of their teams have won replays. Brackley's turn tonight. earlier in the week. Curzon Ashton. And this one goes in after extra time as a 4-3 win. Hard to pick any individual heroes, as I said, but of course Armson is going to be one of them with a big claim on it, down to Andy May.
Patrick Hero, how does it feel? Sum up what it's like to be part of an FA Cup shock, and you're through to the second round.
You know, it's brilliant. It's the first for me to be in the second round. You know, we came into the game full of confidence, thinking we can take something from it. The boys have been fantastic. I know that I'll get a lot of plaudits scoring a hat-trick, but the lads behind me, you know, the other boys, the lads that came on with different class today, and you know, I think we got what we deserved, to be honest.
That third goal, talk us through how well you took that one.
You know, it weren't as good as my one in the first leg, but you know, it's the ball just falls to you, and then to be fair, I should have scored one in the like 90 minutes, but yeah, it just fell to me, and I thought, you know, let's try and finish the game now.
Did you feel at any point you might have blown it, because there was a lot of pressure, wasn't there, from Gillingham towards the end of regular time? Yeah,
you know, it does cross your mind. You know, they're a League One side, they've got some quality in their side, but the lads at the back have been superb all season. Not just in the last two games in the FA Cup. They've been superb all season, and the resolution we show, again, they should get the plaudits just as much as I should.
Best day of your career?
One of, yeah, definitely.
Well done.
Cheers, thank you very much. Thank you. Cheers.
Well done to him, and of course all of the Brackley players. What a night, what a feeling for this small town in Northamptonshire. I would imagine everybody connected with Gillingham is sick of the sight of this place.